Start in Los Angeles and get on the I-5 heading north. Drive 150 miles, past Hollywood, past Santa Clarita, and Bakersfield. Eventually, you'll wind up here. The Colonel Allensworth State Park, where for $6 you can park your car and walk through the history of what was once a thriving Black community. If you go a little further south past the park, you'll see what's left of that dream, the community that the park has preserved in time.
This is the park. This is our community center. This is the school. I think people think of it in the past. They come to the park and that's all they know. They have no idea that 500 people live here.
Allensworth, located in California's Central Valley, was the state's first self-governed Black community. The town was established in 1908 by Allen Allensworth, who was born into slavery and later became the first Black lieutenant colonel in the U.S. Army. As the town began to grow, residents built a schoolhouse, barbershop, bakery, and drugstore. Agriculture dominated the economy, and by the 1920s, nearly 300 people lived here. It became a refuge from the racist policies of Jim Crow spreading throughout the country.
The community where African Americans could have their own lives free of hostility.
But after the colonel's death in 1914, the town began to decline. The railway diverted trains from Allensworth, hurting its economy. And the state broke its promises to providing water to the town, causing a water crisis. In 1974, the town was preserved as the Colonel Allensworth State Historic Park. And although a lot of people moved away, there's still a community here. The park is now home to many migrant farm workers and a handful of Black families, like Denise's, who are working to revitalize the town.
Yeah, that's a picture of Ma. Is that Ma?
Yes, sir.
Every meeting she went to, she would say to the people, "What about Allensworth?"
She was a busy lady.
Probably still is.
Despite Allensworth's challenges, it's a town that continues to attract generations of believers, some dedicating their entire lives to continuing its legacy.
My mom moved into the town, Eddie Morrison, in 1979. She was an advocate for this town in every way. Many times when people were sick here or lost a loved one, instead of dialing 911, they called my mom.
I think when you see something that needs to be done, let's not wait, let's do what must be done. Allensworth is the town that refused to die.
Dennis and Denise are twins.
Dennis, you keep your little comments to yourself.
But y'all the same age.
Okay then.
That's all I can say.
I'm 6 minutes older, that's why I say keep your comments to yourself.
They moved to Allensworth in 2010 to continue their mom's work.
Working with our boards right now to try to improve the water quality. People have to travel 20 miles anywhere to get food, gas, anything. And there's no work for the community.
When this big farmer started selling off his land, I bought 60 acres of it. Presently, we are growing oats. I'm hoping to create an economic base through agriculture. You see these greens coming up, mustard greens. We have collard greens. These are collard greens right here. For some reason, God sent me and my family here, so I'm trying to do my part.
Throughout history, it's been said that African Americans are lazy, and every time the opportunity has come for success, it's been taken away.
There have been several successful and self-sufficient Black communities in the U.S., but so many of them were destroyed. In some cases, it was through public policy, like when New York's Seneca Village was cleared out to build Central Park. In other cases, through violence, like when white mobs rampaged through Black communities in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Wilmington, North Carolina, and Rosewood, Florida.
It's racism. And today is a time that people are saying, I want to determine my own future.
Come on, go outside. Come on. Here, you want a treat? Here. Come on. So I just want to show this picture. This is a picture of Colonel Allensworth. And he has a town, the vision of the town in his head.
I came here in 2009 when my father had just passed away. So I wanted to pick up the torch
John's father, Cornelius Pope, grew up in Allensworth in the 1930s, long after its heyday. He was behind the push to establish the state park. Cornelius also wanted to restore Allensworth's original cemetery, but he died before that could happen.
There were people that were pioneers that came here and started this town that were buried there, and they're still buried there. As you can see, there's no police, there's really no law out here. It's just us.
For decades, Tulare County had control of the cemetery after its previous owners died. In 2021, Allensworth finally gained ownership, but they still don't have funding to repair it.
How could a government allow something like this to happen? We're going to restore it. We're going to return this to a place of respect and grace.
In late 2021, the California State Parks Department announced a new partnership with an independent investment group to restore the state park and bring more tourism into the area. But Denise says she's fighting to make sure the community is included in those efforts too.
Would you really want someone to come into your community and just develop your park and not your town? I was thinking about it just this morning. It's like, how did my mom do all this? But she just kept the engine going.
Even though this town has died from what it started out, the essence of it was, it's a beacon of hope, and it's still here.
This town refuses to die, and we will do our part to help it stay alive and thrive.